streets of Detroit are home to a life and death struggle.
We gangsters, thugs, monsters, don't give a f about life.
I lost a leg to this, man.
Detroit's gangs and the guns they wield threaten the lives of kids who spend every day growing up in fear of other kids.
Hey, the young girl over here on the ground, she's been shot in her side.
This is where it went in at. This is where it came out.
Coming in! Police, coming in! Police!
Now, an elite police unit has been tasked with turning the tide in a war that's raged for decades.
Once they see this, they tend to think twice.
With aggressive tactics and unparalleled street smarts, they infiltrate a world of gangs, guns, and deadly consequences.
You can't be perfect trying to control an imperfect world.
Hands behind your back, don't mess it up.
There's a whole lot of motherfuckers out here.
The police, that's what we think of them.
Don't let no guards down. We going in hot, we going in ready.
Get back, get out of here, get back.
Bang it, bang it.
Let me see the goddamn hands.
Let's get out, let's get something.
Everybody in? I really need all of y'all. I really do. I need the whole gang unit. I mean, you guys have came in early and we try to hold you on the back end. I know we're working the mess out of you, but it is what it is. You know, don't come in thinking, okay, I'm gonna get an early Friday night a chance to go to the movie. You had to go to the movie on Saturday, matinee.
So thank you for being very professional. Just keep up the good work. Let's be careful. Let's go.
I'm back to where y'all left, please, in one piece. Thank you.
Detroit's first line of defense against gang violence is the police department's Gang Enforcement Unit, AKA the Gang Squad.
We hunt the hunters. We get them before they're able to do anything. That's the whole concept. What's up, gentlemen?
The squad is a 70-officer force that employs deep intelligence gathering and aggressive street enforcement to penetrate the world of gang culture.
Our main focus are gangs, guns, and drugs, preferably guns.
In the wake of a recent gang shooting at a school bus stop, the squad is hitting the streets in full force.
Hands up, fella.
Making street-to-street searches and traffic stops. And their aggressive tactics aren't always understood by the people they protect.
We get harassed 24/7 every day, though. Every day. And we ain't even do nothing.
We get our civil rights violated in Detroit.
This ain't the place to be, people. Stay in New York, New Jersey, Canada, Australia. Don't come to 313. If you get to that area code, you're doing something bad.
They, for some reason, think we don't have nothing better to do than just ride around and mess with people until they're a victim.
Every day is different. No day is the same. You'll hear people say we were on routine patrol. It's never routine.
Put your hands, big fella. Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
My man.
At a gas station on Greenfield Road in northwest Detroit, officers Shooter, Pelly, and Hollywood stop a vehicle for what they suspect is an open intox violation, an open container of alcohol.
Think about it. Cuff the driver.
What they discover is a much deadlier brew.
Going, out. Now, if you move and make any sudden move, your nose gonna be splattered all over your face.
Glock 2340 cal.
You definitely going. You making them
25 round extended clip.
Definitely going.
The extended clip on the handgun suggests it's being carried for more than just personal protection.
And this is how we avoided a shooting. You notice how long that magazine was. Today was a hit day. You don't carry no gun that small with a magazine that long unless you're gonna take somebody out.
Backseat of the car is full. You might want to hold on.
Gun a day is a life saved, just like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. That's my MO.
Detroit is a city of approximately 900,000 citizens, with one of the highest per capita murder rates in the U.S. It has also been hit harder by the economic downturn than any other major American city, with a nearly 30% unemployment rate. Kids in Detroit are now at greater risk to gang violence than ever before, and the availability of guns has made it easy for hard times to turn tragic. June 30th, 2009.
Detroit 911. Yes, I'm right here at the gas station on Warren and Southfield. I got a young girl over here on the ground. She's been shot in her side or her stomach or something. Okay, no, don't move, baby, don't move.
I couldn't really feel the bullets go in, but it's just everything feel numb, but at the same time you can feel a lot of pain. It hurts so bad, like pain you cannot control.
She got shot in her abdomen and her arms.
Okay, who else was she the only person shot?
No, it's a whole group of people, kids. It's a whole bunch of kids. Okay. Baby, be still, don't move.
17-year-old Tiara Dickerson was just one of 7 teenagers hit by gunfire while waiting at a bus stop after school.
It was just a lot of things going through my head. Like, I was thinking, like, I don't want to die, and I hope I make it, and what's going to happen. I hope the police hurry up and come.
Chaos and confusion in the middle of the afternoon. At least 7 people shot, 5 of them summer school students at the Cody 9th Grade Academy in Detroit.
At one point, the pain was so bad that I felt like I did want to die. But then I thought about my mom, my family, and everybody, so I decided to, try to stay strong.
The attack sent all 7 victims to the hospital, 2 in critical condition, and it lit off a firestorm in the local press.
This is a case that ought to be symbolic to all of us because there were so many kids who were victimized at one time in broad open daylight.
The ruthless nature of the shooting and the young age of its victims suggests that this was a case for the gang squad. Detroit police quickly called on Sergeant Todd Eby to work with Gang Squad on the investigation.
But some of the evidence that was at the scene were ballistics, firearms evidence, like spent casings. We had a videotape, a surveillance video from the gas station.
Police now actively searching for that green van, and we're told surveillance cameras on the bank and the gas station at this intersection will help with this investigation. Those tapes are being reviewed right now.
In a case with very little forensic evidence to work with, the security cams caught the entire incident in startling clarity.
It's about 2:15 in the afternoon. It's sunny. This is the gas station parking lot. Just north of the gas station is Cody Academy, where the kids went to school. From the left, you'll see 2 individuals run towards the bus stop armed with guns firing. We know that they're semi-automatics. We know that one's a 9mm and one's a .40 caliber. When the shooting begins, you can see the crowd scatter. Most run westbound, a few run south towards Warren. And although you can't see everybody involved, you can clearly see 2 specific people that are hit. The whole incident takes 10 seconds, and there's probably about 15 shots that are fired during the course of that brief period of time.
From the videotape and eyewitness accounts, Sergeant Eby quickly confirmed the incident was gang-related and that the motive was revenge.
One of these people that was shot was a rival gang member, and the other 6 people that were shot were, for lack of a better term, collateral damage.
Now, Sergeant Eby is teaming up with the Detroit Gang Squad to identify the shooters and hunt them down.
We're headed to the gas station right now, and Officer who is a member of the gang squad, him and I are going to kind of reenact or reconstruct the crime scene.
This man is an intelligence officer with the gang squad. Known for his sense of style, he goes by the code name GQ. To protect his identity, GQ's real name will not be revealed.
So G, it started over by this daycare. The 2 daycare workers saw them get dropped off. They knew something was suspicious. They came back right here, took off their t-shirts, wrapped them around their face, and then made a beeline towards that bus stop.
Do you think that they were targeting just one person?
We're pretty confident in saying that 6 of the people were unintended targets. The only thing they were guilty of doing that day was going to school and waiting at a bus stop. You know.
What can Gang Squad do?
You guys need to do what you normally do in these situations where you increase enforcement among the gang members, and you know, at some point, somebody is going to tell us who did this. I don't believe for a minute that there's all these people out here at that time of day and these gang members don't know what happened or who did it. But clearly, people know. And I think you guys do a good job of, putting pressure where pressure needs to be placed. And I think that's what needs to be done here.
As one of Gang Squad's intelligence men, GQ's mission is to work the streets for inside information on the bus stop shooting. That means cultivating sources and keeping his identity as a cop low-key. Sometimes even working undercover.
What it is that you going out here and you mingling with the people in society every day, and to gather information to curtail crime.
Gathering intel from gang sources is an investigative skill few officers have. GQ's ability to get people on the street to trust him comes from a lifetime of experience.
Being raised and born on the west side of the city of Detroit, I know what it feels like to not have enough food. I know what it feels like to have my lights and gas shut off. I know what it feels like to have parents who are on drugs. One thing is just your attire and then the way that you talk. And then you got to know exactly where you are. You're trying to get information from the west side of Detroit. You know that the west siders, they look a certain way, they dress a certain way, because perception means a whole lot. I've got maybe 50 or 60 sources out here, so my reputation kind of speaks for itself.
To GQ, sources are everything. But in neighborhoods like West Detroit, talking to the police can get you killed. GQ needs to find people vulnerable enough to spill what they know.
We're going into the Southwest District, and we're going to gather some gang intel. They're just guys that have been arrested in the precinct for various crimes. And based on their crimes, we're going to ask some general questions and see exactly what we can come up with.
The best source of information on a Detroit gang is often a member of a rival gang. Today, GQ is talking to young men who have just been arrested and who are likely to have gang ties.
How you doing, man? You all right?
If GQ can get them to open up, it could lead them one step closer to the bus stop shooters.
How old are you?
18.
18? They call me GQ on the street. What do they call you?
I don't have they just call me
Just have you called your mom? Okay. What are they claiming that you had?
Marijuana.
How much?
4 bags.
Oh, 4 bags? They brought you in here on some BS like that? Okay. That can be worked out.
By appearing sympathetic, GQ uses his personality to earn trust. And trust can lead to truth.
How many people are pretty much in the clique?
I just hang around like 7 people, basically.
Do you think that any of those guys would be willing to take a bullet for you?
Big T.
Big T?
He in jail, though.
He's locked up for what?
Stealing cars.
Stealing cars?
Yeah.
Who else?
My friend Buck.
Buck?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna take you back and have... I couldn't get him quite to give me the information that I really wanted, what I was looking for, but that's a start. Hey man, how you doing?
The next perp has been arrested in connection with a shooting known as an A1 charge.
I understand you have a daughter or son? A son. Junior.
Just thinking about my children.
I know, man.
Me, like I'm saying, I ain't just saying like no gang type. We ain't on no gang type stuff. We
What is it?
We family.
He's in here on an AWIM charge, and I know he just pretty much lied through his teeth.
Like I'm saying, like friends is really closer than your family to people now. Cause like I said earlier, people don't got family like that. They family deny them to the left, you know? The world crazy to me. They need a lot of work to this world. I mean, people need jobs. Everybody out here starving. Everybody out here hungry.
I miss my family. I've been in here for 2 days. I miss my daughter. I just want to get out of here. You know, oftentimes they tell you anything.
I'm supposed to be in here. I'm not that person. I'm not.
They're out there on the streets murdering, selling dope, and they come in here and they act like a bunch of 3-year-olds, crying and whining all day long. So you just get used to people lying to you all day.
Gang violence is youth violence. Kids in Detroit are often affiliated with a gang before they're even teenagers. Gangs here are younger, smaller, and less organized than in other metro areas. Recently appointed police chief Warren Evans is facing a criminal culture that bears little resemblance to the highly structured street gangs of the West Coast.
They're almost like neighborhoods or block gangs. And so they beef with each other quite a bit. It's not as organized as LA gangs or maybe even Chicago gangs.
In the late 1970s, the gangs were organized in which you had a structure of one person was in fact like the CEO. Now you don't have that.
In some ways that's good, but in other ways it makes the intelligence gathering more difficult because you have so many small little groups and gangs and trying to figure out the dynamics of who's beefing with who and who the necessary players are.
Compounding the challenge is a phenomenon that's taken root in urban culture, not just in Detroit, but across the U.S. It's called Stop Snitching.
No one wants to ever be labeled as being a snitch, talking to the police and giving information about individuals as it relates to committing crimes. Once that gets out, and they say, man, you've been talking to the police about what we're doing on the street, it'll be over for them.
They'd rather see the person dead than in jail.
The bus stop shooting took place in broad daylight, in front of multiple eyewitnesses. Now, pressure from the streets to keep quiet has made what could be quick justice an open case. Detroit's most shocking act of gang violence in recent history, a bus stop shooting that claimed 7 victims, has so far surrendered no promising leads. But Gang Squad has a new addition to the intelligence team, and his code name is Sandman.
Sandman is aggressive, tenacious, very smart. He's very, very valuable because of his street connections there.
Sandman is from East Detroit, and the gangs he grew up around are more than just neighbors. They're family.
I got a nice little number of people in my family that's in the gang. They don't bring it around me. You know, they know I don't play it.
Several of Sandman's cousins belong to a gang known as the 7 Mile Bloods. They're based in eastern Detroit and control a section of turf known as the Red Zone.
It's a little more dangerous dealing with a non-traditional gang because they're trying to make a name for themselves. So they're gonna always be more dangerous because they feel like, okay, if I do this, it's gonna put us on the map.
Keeping personal relationships with gang members is a critical part of Sandman's strategy. Those relationships can lead to intel on the bus stop shooting.
Hello? Yeah. Okay, don't run. You tell them motherfuckers don't run. I'm gonna call this number back as soon as I pull up on the block. I should be pulling up in maybe like 5 minutes. Okay. Here they go down here in the street.
The youngest gang member here is only 13 years old.
You pretty much stuck in Southwest, you know what I'm saying? Because they like for real bloody and blood out down there.
Gangsters, thugs, monsters, don't give a about life.
I lost a leg to this, man.
Hey, look around. Do this.
Ain't no running from it. Everybody's 7 Mile Blood. Yeah. Family over here. No outsiders like I've been saying, man. Don't trust them, man.
The police, that's what we think of. Prison ain't shit. What you talking about? Y'all know what it is. 7 Mile Blood Gang. Run this man. Just tell y'all about it. Tell y'all about it, man. Free hop. Cool life. That's a shooting, man. It's a shooting. Don't get it.
Living in the city of Detroit, it's so easy to get caught up in peer pressure and what other people actually think about you. Nobody want to be considered to be soft.
You know, my father was a very good disciplinarian. I think if it had not been for him, I probably would have, succumbed to the streets. Most of my friends, they didn't make it. And, sometimes you have to think that some kids in these neighborhoods, they never get a chance to get out of the neighborhood.
It's just getting, worse each year. And everybody has a mind of their own. So if somebody feel like they want to be in a gang and go kill somebody to get recognized, that's what they're going to do, no matter who tries to stop.
See murder, bitch. Bang, bang. It's real.
If you ask them, what do you plan on accomplish out of the game? They don't know. A lot of them don't. And that's the crazy part about it. A lot of them don't even know. And I wonder how many, if you ask them, like, so did you grow up in this neighborhood, that's going to honestly tell the truth? They ain't even renting over here, let alone own something over here. They broke, they ain't got no money. If I'm going to be in the gang, it's going to be for a purpose. We finna get rich. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the millionaire club or something. It's not finna be no just to fight. That's crazy.
In the case of the bus stop shooting, GQ and Sandman's talents are beginning to pay dividends. The gang responsible for the shooting is now believed to be a crew known as the Joy Road Hit Squad, one of Detroit's oldest and most violent gangs.
I'm from Joy Road, I'm from Joy Road, yeah. I'm from Joy Road, X and 9. I'm from Joy Road, I'm from Joy Road, I'm from Joy Road, X and 9.
This gang is responsible for a number of different shootings, armed robberies, carjackings.
Hello, how you doing? It's me again. I'm back, dog. From the backyard, still pushing that crack hard. I'm from the hood, in case you didn't know, it's X and Nina. Where them boys made big weight.
They're involved in the drug trade. So, clearly the gang is a violent group of individuals.
The Hit Squad controls territory in northwest Detroit that extends from Joy Road to West Chicago Street and as far west as Southfield Freeway, where the bus stop shooting occurred. Police believe the hit was motivated by revenge against a rival gang member. What's more, eyewitnesses have identified two primary suspects.
We don't have an arrest warrant for anybody, obviously, but there's certainly people that we're focusing on. And these individuals are younger, 19, 20 years old, and represent part of the Hit Squad.
Their number one person of interest is Demetrius Hinton, a teen who's also wanted in connection with a more recent drug-related homicide. Hinton is still at large. Now, it's up to GQ and Sandman to locate the suspects before the trail runs cold.
Yeah, at 5 o'clock. Okay.
Behind an abandoned warehouse, where he can be certain of secrecy, GQ meets with an informant who has ties to the Joy Road Hit Squad. GQ's line of questioning is simple. Where is Demetrius Hinton?
The motherfucker is public enemy number one in Detroit as far as we're concerned. The shooters are. And we're not gonna let up until we turn over every rock to find the guy. Where do you think that he would go? Where would a 15, 16-year-old go?
Somewhere with some family. It had to be somewhere with some family. Wyoming.
The source delivers and gives GQ the latest intel on the Hit Squad and the whereabouts of their prime suspect. From meetups like this one, Gang Squad is able to come up with a location on Demetrius Hinton.